This video is going to be all about mirrors, when you should check them, which ones should you check, and why you should check them. To start the video off, I'm going to give an explanation, then I'll move on to a demonstration using my head cam, which I've been practicing with, trying to get a good image. I know I'm a bit of a fidgety person, so I am going to try my best to stay nice and still so that the image you're watching is not all over the place. The eagle-eyed would have noticed I've changed my t-shirt. That's not because I am messy when I eat, it's actually because my camera seemed to be struggling with that bright white shirt I was wearing. So on to the explanation. When should you check your mirrors? Well, you should check your mirrors whenever you're gonna change your speed or direction. So that means slow down and speed up, and also if you're moving to the left or the right to change lane or even take up a different position. Why do you need to check your mirrors when you do this? It's quite simple really. If you move to the right and someone's coming up from behind to the right of you, you don't want to hit them. And the same is true for the left as well. If you're moving to the left and someone is on the left of you coming up from behind, you don't want to hit them. What about speeding up? Why would you want to check your mirrors before speeding up? Well, if someone's overtaking you and you start speeding up, that can be quite dangerous, because that person overtaking you is expecting to be able to get past you. If you then make it harder for them to get past you, you can probably see why that leads to a dangerous situation. And then slowing down, why do you need to see behind you before you slow down? It can be helpful so that you know how harshly you can slow down. Not that you want to be slowing down harshly anyway, but if you know someone's particularly close behind you, you can take that into account when you're braking and think, well, maybe I'll go a bit easier on the brakes just to make things a bit safer. Which is why it's really annoying when someone follows really close behind, because it does restrict you in your own driving. You have to consider them, and you can't always consider them. If you need to brake hard, you need to brake hard, and well, they might be hitting you. So what about the UK driving test? When should you check your mirrors to make sure you pass your test? You may have heard that you need to check your mirrors every 10 seconds to pass your driving test. That's not actually true. You don't need to be continuously checking your mirrors when you're doing your driving lessons and when you're doing your driving test. That sounds controversial. People always say you should continuously always be checking your mirrors, but I'd rather you didn't. I teach people sometimes who do that, and they're scary, they're dangerous. They don't look where they're going. They're constantly looking at the mirrors far too often because they're trying to please me. They're trying to prepare for the driving test because someone says, oh, you've got to check your mirrors at least every 10 seconds. That means they're not focusing on the road. They're focusing on their mirrors. Check your mirrors when you need to. As I said before, if you're going to change lane, check your mirrors. If you're going to slow down, check your mirrors. If you're going to speed up, you get the idea. Also, don't underestimate your peripheral vision. If you don't know what peripheral vision is, it's the corner of your eye. If you don't know what that is, look forwards and wave. You can see your hands either side of yourself waving as you look forwards, like I can now. And you know what's around you when you're driving if your mirrors are correctly set, because if someone's behind you, you see them there, especially if they're close. If someone's coming up alongside you, they'll catch your eye. Now, I'm not saying you should totally rely on that, but it is helpful. Do check your mirrors purposefully if you're actually going to make a move, but don't check them for no reason. The way mirror checks are normally marked on a driving test, like all things that are marked on driving tests, you can either get a driver fault or what's known as a minor driver fault, which you don't fail for. You don't fail for one of those on their own at least. They can amount to a fail if you get enough of them. And you can get a serious driver fault. If you get a serious driver fault, you will fail for sure. If you get a dangerous driver fault, you will fail. An example of a minor driving fault would be, let's say you've just passed a parked car and you're coming back to your side of the road. If you don't check your centre and left mirror before coming back, it's very, very unlikely that that will be a serious mark on your test. Whereas, let's say you're not coming back to your side of the road after passing a parked car, you are moving to the wrong side of the road to pass a parked car, and you don't check your mirrors. Well, that will probably still be a minor fault on a driving test. But if there is someone behind and they look like they're about to pass you and you don't check your mirrors, that will then become a serious fault because there's actual danger there, which is kind of how there is a little bit of luck in the driving test because you haven't checked your mirrors. It's just luck that there's a car behind you or there isn't a car behind you. And that luck determines whether or not you pass based on your same actions. And I believe that's because the driving examiners do take into account that, yeah, this person is aware, they know there's no one behind them, they didn't check their mirrors that time, they didn't make sure, but there wasn't someone behind us. Or if there was someone behind us, the examiner's going to be thinking, well, there's someone quite close behind us now and they look like they're about to pass. The driver, the person doing the test, doesn't seem to be aware of that and they're not checking to make sure they're staying behind before they move out. So it does make sense. There is luck involved there, of course, but I think the examiners do, on the whole, do a pretty good job and make, most of the time, good calls. And then there's slowing down and checking your mirrors. You won't get minors for slowing down without checking your mirrors, generally, as long as you're slowing down smoothly and gently. However, if you have to slow down a little bit more harshly, and it's down to the examiner to consider what is harsh and what's not harsh, you can't put a number to this, they have to feel it, and if they feel it was harsh and you don't check your mirror, you will get a minor. If you do that a lot, you will fail. Or if you slow down really harshly and don't check your mirror, you will fail, which is a bit of a problem. You can't win, because if you need to slow down quickly, do you have time to check your mirror? Probably not. And that's when it becomes an emergency. A difference between an emergency stop and a normal stop isn't actually how harsh you do it, it's the fact that it's urgent. It is an emergency, you don't have time to check, you've got to get on the brakes very hard right now to avoid a collision. And whether or not you will pass or fail comes down to who caused the emergency, or whether you should have been able to foresee that problem. So if the examiner can see a problem unfolding and you're not reacting to that, you're not slowing down, and you leave it to the last second and then you brake harshly, that's your fault. If, however, you can't foresee it, everything's normal, hunky-dory, going along nicely, and something happens that you can't foresee, then it's not your fault. And if it's not your fault, you should still pass, as long as there's no collision. If there's a collision, then things get a little bit more complicated. I'm certainly not an expert in that area because I haven't had a collision on any of my tests that have gone out. Okay, enough of the explanation. Let's try and make this head cam work and show you firsthand exactly where and when I'm checking. In this video, you're going to notice that I look at the mirrors for quite a long time, much longer than I would normally look at the mirrors, but that's just so you have a chance to see what I'm looking at. Normally I wouldn't really move my head very much, I would just use my eyes. And I'm going to cut this video down as much as I can. I'm going to cut straight to the points where I'm checking my mirrors and skip out all the bits in between, so you don't have to watch me driving around Colchester. I see a zebra crossing up ahead, so I'm checking my centre mirror to see what's behind me. The person behind is quite far away. I've slowed down a little bit anyway just to make sure it's clear, because there's quite a lot going on there. Checking my centre mirror now and my right mirror before I move out for this parked car. Safe to do so, so I have moved out. And I can speed up because although I'm in the middle of the road, no one's coming the other way, so I'll make the most of this and get this done as quick as I can. Now there's a big truck coming. I check my centre mirror and I start slowing down to make sure it's safe to go through this very narrow gap. And I've got second gear now too, focusing ahead now because I want to see the gap that I have to use. Centre mirror and left mirror to move in after these cars, and I check those mirrors before I move in and before I move out. Moving in is when I move back to my side of the road, moving out is when I move to the other side of the road. And it's always important to check before you do something, so that if you see something is there, you have time to respond to that. So centre mirror now and right mirror to move around this white car, safe to do so. Focusing on the gap, not the cars, so I can see how much space I've got. When I say gap, I mean the space between the parked cars and the oncoming cars, that space you're going to use. That's where you want to focus when you're driving. I'm not going to check my centre left mirror now because I'm not moving back to left. That will be pointless because there's more cars. I may as well just stay out. And I'm going to check my centre mirror now and my left mirror to move back in after these cars. There's no cyclists there, so I'm okay. As I say, I would normally check them a lot quicker than that, and possibly a bit later as well. I'm checking them a bit earlier so I can check for longer to give you an idea of what I'm looking at. No need to check my mirrors to go around a bend. Everyone knows you're going to go around a bend. And I'm going to move in after this van, so centre mirror and left mirror, and move in gradually. Not as important to do it there because I really didn't move in much at all. It was a very small movement. Car behind, but I'm already quite slow. No danger there. Checking right at the roundabout. I can go because the car's going the other way, and I had someone blocking them off as well. So in that clip you saw me checking my centre and right mirror to move out for the parked cars, and my centre and left mirror to move back to my side of the road. The most common thing you're going to see when you do that is someone overtaking you on the right, particularly a motorbike, where you may have to delay your move out or maybe slow down a bit to let them pass before you move out, and cyclists on your left, which is much more rare but more likely in very slow moving traffic where cyclists are going to go faster than cars, and they're not going to wait in the queue of slow cars, they are going to cycle past you. The end of the road is coming up, so I check my centre mirror and my right mirror. No one passing me, indicate right, and I'm slowing down for this junction. Mini roundabout up ahead now. So centre mirror, right mirror, no one overtaking me, no bikes there, so I'm indicating and slowing down for the junction. Not only bikes, it could be cars overtaking, motorbikes overtaking. Pedal bikes are quite unlikely when you're at speed, but when you're on slow moving traffic, particularly congested roads, it's more likely for a cyclist to overtake you. I'm going to take this road on the left soon, so I'm going to check my centre mirror and my left mirror. No cyclists to the left of me, I'm indicating left and slowing down to left into this road. That's basically it. If you're going to go right, any junction, you check your centre mirror and your right mirror first to make sure it's safe. And if you're going to go left, you check your centre mirror and then your left mirror before you go left to see what's to the left of you. You can use your imagination as to what could be there. It's quite unlikely that there is anything ever there, but it does happen. And even if you think you're aware because you're peripheral vision, don't totally rely on that. It's not foolproof. There will be things that sneak up alongside you that you weren't expecting. These traffic lights, centre mirror, left indicator, and now I can go left. Just another check of that left mirror to make sure no cyclists come up alongside me in the meantime. If your mirrors were a bit early, it's always a good idea to do another quick glance to either side, depending which way you're going, or if you've had to wait for a little bit of time because maybe the traffic slowed down, probably a good idea to have another quick look so that your looks are up to date. It's just occurred to me that I've done a video recently on changing lanes. It just so happens that because I'm talking about mirrors in this video, it's overlapping. So if you want to check out that video, there should be a link somewhere in the top of the screen that you can click on to take you to that video. Now what I can do here, if I check my centre mirror and my right mirror, I can move into the middle straight away. As the road was widening and splitting into two lanes, I didn't actually have to indicate and change lane. I could just aim for the middle lane. I still check my mirrors in case someone was trying to fly past me on the right, which can happen sometimes. Just seeing what's behind me there, no one behind me directly. No one in the wing mirror either. Well, there was a van behind me earlier. They've obviously gone elsewhere. Didn't notice where they went. They vanished. And before I set off, sometimes I check my centre and right mirror again just before I get going, so I know who I'm affecting, or my left mirror if I know I'm going to be turning left soon. The roundabout, I'm going right, centre mirror, right mirror, indicate right, and slow down for the roundabout. This is a multi-lane roundabout, so I will have to check my mirrors to leave the roundabout. I'm in the right lane. I will be changing to the left lane to leave. So hopefully I can give you a good demonstration of myself doing that. Hopefully it gets it on camera. This is not the first take I've done this, I'll tell you that. It's very hard to get this camera on my head to work. You just end up looking at the ceiling half the time. So I'm going to be leaving this roundabout after that exit where that Porsche 911 went. So centre mirror, left mirror, no one is coming up to the left of me, it's indicating left, another check in the left mirror just to make sure it's safe as I drift away to leave the roundabout. I did look at those mirrors for an uncomfortably long time there. Normally it would be a very quick glance, but hopefully you got to see exactly what my eyes see. My eyes are better at seeing than the camera. Quick glance, I've got the information. On camera, that comes out as a blur. Now I actually did a centre and right mirror there before I moved away, just because it's good to know what's alongside you as you speed up yourself. Not that it really matters there, because everyone's in the same boat, everyone's just moving away there. It's not like I'm doing 60 and someone's overtaking me and I suddenly decide to speed up to 70. That's not really on. If someone's overtaking you, let them overtake you. Don't accelerate and stop them from overtaking you. I'm going to move to the right lane soon because I want to go right at the roundabout. So centre mirror, right mirror, looks safe to do so, indicate, right mirror again, quick sideways glance and change lane. Indicating right now for this roundabout. As I'm going round the roundabout, I am looking a bit to the right, centre mirror, left indicator, left mirror again, just to drift to the left lane to leave. Again, make those mirror checks really snappy when you're on a roundabout. You want to be looking ahead. If you were an inexperienced driver and you spent that long looking at mirrors there, you probably wouldn't take a very good line as you came off the roundabout. Your position would probably be quite poor. I want to move to the right lane again, so centre mirror, right mirror. There's a bike. The bike's quite far away, so I'm going to indicate and I'm just going to carry on. He's catching me very slow and he's far away, so I've just sped up, stay in front of him. See, he's still happy there behind me, nice gap there. And now I'm braking for the roundabout again. Going to go right at the roundabout, centre mirror, right mirror. Not that I really need it there. There's not really any chance of anyone being to the right of me there, but it could be a super fast cyclist, I guess. It's good just to get into the habit of always checking anyway. If you're going to go right, check your centre right. If you're going to go left, check your centre left. And you do it automatically without thinking. You become like a ninja. You always know your surroundings without actually having to look, because it just happens by habit. Going to leave this same roundabout again, so centre mirror, left mirror, no one alongside me, left mirror again, no one alongside me, and I can drift away, leave the roundabout in the left lane. I need to go right at this roundabout later, so I'm going to go into the right lane to prepare. Mirror in the middle, mirror on the right. It was a quiet day today. Indicate right, another quick mirror check. Sideways glance is helpful, although not 100% essential there. I can really, it's not very wide this lane, I can see what's there. Centre mirror, right indicator. To go right at the roundabout. Again, there's not much need to check the centre right mirror before the right indicator for this roundabout. It really can't be anything to the right of me there. It's very unlikely, although it is possible. I've never had anyone to the right of me there in that situation in 16 years of an awful lot of driving, I should say. Centre mirror, left mirror to leave, left mirror again to leave, no one alongside me, so drift away into the left lane. I've got to leave in the right lane on this roundabout, but I did go to the left lane of the roundabout, but I have to leave in the left lane of the exit road, which is confusing, but that's what you have to do there. So centre mirror, left mirror, because I need to go to the left lane because it is a dual carriageway, left mirror again. And in a dual carriageway, you should be in the left lane unless you're overtaking. I had to leave in the right lane because this left lane at the time was dedicated for people turning left from a different road. There really isn't much need to check my left mirror here. I'm going quite quickly. I'm in the left lane already, so I'm not changing my position. I'm basically going straight. However, if you knew there was a cyclist around you and you were going slowly, still have a quick look just to make sure that they are staying behind you. Cyclists, please Don't cycle up alongside cars at junctions, because you know that is rather silly. You're asking for trouble if you do that. If you find mirror checks particularly hard, and a lot of new drivers do, try checking really early so that you can check for longer and check one mirror at a time. That way you'll be able to check one mirror for longer without taking your eye off the road ahead for as long. For example, if you check here and then check ahead, that's a lot longer than say checking here for a bit longer and then checking ahead. Because I know for new drivers it's not necessarily a case of remembering to check the mirrors, although that is a problem often too. It's a case of getting used to what you should see in the mirror. And when a new driver looks in the mirror, they see like seat, headrest, cars everywhere, and it takes a while to get used to it. But once you're used to it, all the other stuff your brain doesn't focus on. You just focus on the exact thing you need. That takes time. If you're worried, don't worry. Keep at it. You will get better. With practice, you'll be much quicker at just flicking your eyes at the mirrors to see exactly what's there and to know exactly what you need to know. Of course, the ultimate goal is not to look at the mirrors for a long time super early. That's not as safe as looking at them a bit later when it's more relevant and up to date, and more quickly so you can keep your eye ahead. But to help you learn and to help you judge what you see in the mirror, sometimes it's better to spend that little bit longer. Just give yourself a chance to take in that information. So to summarize, check your mirrors when you need to. Keep your mirror checks brief and quick, just enough time to focus and see what's there, and hopefully you'll be safe. And if you're on a driving test, hopefully you'll pass your driving test too. That's all for this one. Give the video a like if you think it's helpful, and check out my sponsors if you want to get insurance for your car. If you want to insure your own car, check out confused.com. And if you want to insure yourself and somebody else's car, check out Collingwood. Links in the description to both. And if you use the links, it does support the channel. And you do get a benefit with Collingwood if you go through the link. I'm not saying what the benefit is because they have changed it recently. And it is, you know, it can change in the future. But they do tend to have a benefit there. Sometimes 20% off via the link. So definitely worth checking out. Subscribe to get my future videos. And until the next one, cheerio.